Jujutsu Kaisen.
Ooh.
This is Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 159, Judgment. We open up with a statistic that is alarming. In Japan, 99.9% of criminal trials end in a guilty verdict. Brian, I need to know if that's true. Can you Google that for me?
Let's find out.
Yeah, go ahead and look it up, Brian. You might as well.
Guilty.
Okay, so this chapter is literally focused on Higuruma, one of the culling game players that was introduced in the last chapter. The one we were like, he's gonna judge us to death.
Yeah, we had jokes.
Yeah. And
okay. I just Googled it. 99. Japan doesn't have a 99% guilty verdict. It exceeds 99.9%.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to let Brian finish. It's worse than we know.
Oh my god!
But that's not a look. Before we go any further into the chapter,
I don't know.
Everyone listening, I just want to be clear on something. Their justice system is incredibly different from anything here in America.
Yeah, I imagine.
So I'm not, so I'm not supporting that statistic. I'm not saying like, yeah, it's a good reason for it. I just want people to understand that, and before you say anything, do a little bit of research. You know what I'm saying? It helps. It humbled me.
Oh yeah,
because I felt the way reading the chapter, and then I did a little bit of reading myself, and I was kind of pleasantly surprised.
Well, can you actually kind of surmise that in a very quick It's not like if you can.
All right. So yeah, obviously, I don't remember every statistic or whatever, but just in comparing that, this is apples to oranges. You know what I'm saying? As far as our justice system versus theirs, their justice system is based on actually, helping people, looking out for people, and trying to get to the root of an issue. Now, there's also over policing in poor communities in Japan and stuff, but the point of policing in Japan isn't to how do I put it, oppress the poor people in that country. They really are just trying to keep the peace, I guess, for what it's worth. But that's why I said, look, do a little bit more research. I don't know all of the intricacies, and there's always corruption in a lot of different facets of government and, of course, police force. And anywhere around the world, there's nowhere perfect. Mm-hmm. But compared to our country, when you look at certain statistics, there's a lot of different reasons, why police do the things they do. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you, Chris, could understand what I'm saying by that. Yeah. If anybody doesn't clearly get it, it's a lot to do with race in this country, and the fact that this is a multicultural country, and Japan is, mostly just Japanese. So countries where there isn't that much, isn't a large multi-ethnic community, there's generally less issues in policing, less ethical issues.
Okay. So in theory, just because things are...
Yeah, I don't know. That's as vague as I can keep it without really,
Yeah. I mean, it's no big deal.
I
was just curious. Yeah, I was just curious about it.
Yeah, the numbers just reflect differently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a complete message of, oh my God, everybody is fucking...
Everybody goes to jail.
It's like totalitarian, you did wrong, it's over for you. You know what I'm saying? But maybe they are a little bit strict when it comes to certain cases, where they should give someone a chance. And I'm sure that happens plenty of times.
Yeah, I guess a 99.9%.
This is a serious topic. It's a really good chapter, by the way. I think we had I had to discuss a few things. I'm open to conversation. If anyone asks questions, I can share a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
On the messages, guys, holla at us.
Yes, please comment. Comment what you think. All
right, let's get into the chapter.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm so excited. Okay.
Right. All right.
All right. So Higuruma is talking to this kid. He's representing in court. He's a lawyer. There was a murder, and this kid found a knife. He was supposedly going. His story is that he was going to return this knife to the police when he found it. But everybody thinks that he obviously killed these people. Because he had the murder weapon. It looks pretty bad for him, honestly. And his I guess his paralegal, the woman who works for Higurama, is basically like, really, you believe this story? It's like he fled the interrogation because he was guilty, right? And he's like, no. The authorities once illegally questioned him because he had acquaintances who was using drugs. So, he's like, so it just happened that he just picked up a bloody knife? And he's like, I know his reasons defied belief, but there are his circumstances. Apparently, he like has a live-in job at a nonprofit where he takes care of old people, and not just like kind of old people. It's also just folks who are like, I get it's also kind of like for like the people who are dependent on drugs and stuff like that. It's an overall thing that he works at.
People on parole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That can't get, already have a couple strikes on their record and are just really trying to make something of their lives and doesn't need, get sent back to fucking prison because who does that help? No one.
Exactly. And
I get it. And this makes sense.
And it sucks because, like, they also don't pay his wages. Like, he's supposed to get, like, they don't, like, I guess because he lives in there, but, he's, he lives with them. They give him pocket money and box lunches and groceries. And then at the same time, weirdly enough, they force him to pay rent, which is weird.
On top of all of that.
Yeah, it's bizarre. So, based on that, he's like, I think I'm inclined to believe that he's probably telling the truth about trying to get this knife to the police. I think there's a good possibility he's innocent. We then cut to like these two women talking about Higurama that used to work for him, I guess. And he's just they talk about like we get this flashback where this one guy who's going to prison or like on trial is just weeping and telling us like, you're a liar, you said they'd find me innocent. And
he's lashing out at his, at the dude representing him.
Yeah. And he's like, and his assistant was like, you work so hard for these people and look how they treat you. It was like, why do you work so hard for these folks? What about your mental state? And Higurama's just like, I don't know, man. They're just up against a wall financially and emotionally, and they take it out on us, and
yeah, life's fucking rough. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody has the supportive, cast of people around them.
Right.
Somebody's got to stand up for these people, right? I mean, at least that's how he feels, and I respect that.
Yeah, it's like a nice sense of empathy.
Anybody.
It's a nice sense of empathy from somebody, It's like, yeah, I know they're mistreating me, but look, where are they? Like they're about to go to jail. You'd be pretty pissed too if you're going to jail for a crime you didn't commit. So we then cut over to the sentencing verdict thing, I guess, and they find his defendant innocent, and I'm like, oh, innocent, yeah. But his paralegal's like, oh, we won, right? And he's like, oh, no. He's like, they'll immediately appeal.
Really?
Yeah. He said they'll immediately appeal. And over time, like time passes, he goes to see the kid again. I think he cut his hair. I don't know. I think that's like, I guess how they do it in like prisons over there.
Yeah, they gave him a buzz cut.
Yeah. And
they do that in these jails
I guess
too.
in this one
But
too.
at first, when you first go in.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how it is in Japan, though.
Yeah. He's like, he's thanking him for all his hard work, and he's like, don't worry, man. I mean, there will be a second trial. He's trying to get like through all the informational thing, and this kid is just like breaking down to him and so grateful that he actually believed him enough to keep fighting for him. And in that moment, boom, appeal hearing, second trial, guilty, life imprisonment. Shit.
Oh, here's the fucking kicker, right? No new evidence was presented.
Yeah.
So, literally, this decision was made. All right, so Why don't you finish the chapter before I make this point?
Yeah, the prosecutors that were like arguing against his release failed to provide new evidence, and the court passed the sentence based on the shoddy argument that there was no reason to suspect the missing person, thereby overturning the previous ruling. So from there on,
right?
There's very little chance that they'll have a third trial because the highest court usually doesn't take a ton of cases, especially like kind of these smaller ones, I guess. So at this point,
they could,
at this point,
because then they take a small case like this, they'd have to take all of them. It sucks,
exactly.
but there's a reason there's tiers to it.
Yeah,
it
makes sense.
Of course, it's not fair when it comes to rich people's issues, but I digress. Right?
What are you gonna do?
Digress.
Man, we get this one panel. It's just this kid's face, just pissed, and it says,
"Oh, he ain't the only one with a crazy face."
Oh yeah, he says the system.
But this was,
He said the system branded him guilty from the very start, and he's just looking at Higurama, and Higurama's just like fucking broken, He's just
his eyes is wide open. He can't and not in astonishment or disbelief, but in pure frustration and anger and despair, truly. Because he knew where he was going. He knew the situation that he was going into.
Yeah.
That's why he wasn't optimistic.
Yeah. And then we cut back to that flashback that we were at earlier, and where his former paralegal is like, "What about your mental state, Higurama?" And he says, I'm not trying to save the weak and powerless. Ever since I was a kid, I couldn't leave things alone, and that hasn't changed. Lady Justice wears a blindfold to represent law's impartiality, and people close their eyes to spare themselves the truth. But even so, in order not to shake off the hands that cling to me, even if I'm the only one, I want to keep my eyes open. I guess as to say is just like, I just, want to help people. I don't want to give into the cold impartiality of the law, I guess. And, have that sympathy for people and really see things like that, defend people who really need it.
Right.
And man,
that's what you would hope someone wants to be a lawyer for, right?
Right.
I mean, to interpret the law, practice it, and fight for people in general.
Exactly.
Because that's what the law is for, to protect and help people in general.
Exactly. And
it's funny because as you read that, it really brings me back to that excerpt that in that page from Way of X that talked about how good laws help benefit humanity, and bad laws are ones that are so rigid that they can't be flexed or changed in order to benefit
for empathy.
Others. Yeah. Or empathize, which is what being human and living together in a society is all about. So yeah, it's true. Feel him on that.
Yeah,
to say the least.
For real. Oh my God. Well, things take a pretty drastic turn.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. All right. So this judge is like, if there are any objections, you must petition a final appeal within 15 days. And all of a sudden, bang, we hear a gavel clack. And we know what time it is.
The gavel.
Yeah. Higurama stands up. There's like a shadow just forming above him. And he says, "Everyone come back." Big 2-page spread of him. And I guess this curse just standing behind him saying, "We're having
behind him."
He said, "We're having a retrial." And the chapter ends introducing culling game player Hiromi Higuruma. Oh,
I'll give it standing.
Oh my God. Really good chapter of the week.
Certified RGC. Certified
Times through RGC. Stop fucking playing. Stop fucking playing. What's the author's name again? Tabata?
No, that's Black Clover. Akutami.
Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad.
Akutami.
What's this dude's name?
Akutami.
Aquatami? Akutami. Yo, my mans, listen, I've been have respect for you because I like how you over-explain things. This is that shit. This is why we fucks with you, bro. I'm never gonna be mad about a
RGC.
You don't have to do this every week.
Certified RGC.
It's fine. It's fine, man.
Unified RGC.
You the man. Unified. Oh, we're gonna do it all at once. Let's just do it. All right, on my count. All right. Right after one, okay? 3, 2, 1.
Unified
RGC!
Certified RGC
We're gonna work on that. Don't worry about it.
It's the bandwidth. We're on the internet.
I'm so fucking hyped. This is this is like American comic book level writing and nuance.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in no disrespect towards any manga artists, because they make great stories. But I mean, I'm talking about just reading like dialogue heavy pages one after the other, and being moved by this completely one-off stories. A lot of American comics are like that. Where sometimes they'll have like this issue that's kind of like a side story where they really want to drive home a point. You see that a lot in American comics, and god damn it, yo, Ikutake.
Akutami.
Akutami. Sorry, I'll get it.
Yeah, don't worry.
Akutami.
We don't say his name often.
It's a shame that this guy might die.
Excuse me?
Well, I told you guys we would
He's
love
one of the
him.
people they have to
Didn't
hunt.
I call it? Didn't I call that we would love this dude?
Oh, I think you were talking about the author. It's like, wait, what?
No.
No, God forbid.
What are you talking about?
Didn't I tell you we would love this guy? Didn't I tell you we would love Higuruma?
Yeah, we was cracking so many jokes, like, cause whatever. But like, man, this nigga's really about something. I mean, he stood on his own too and said, "Fuck out of." He didn't know he was about to develop a cursed spirit.
Oh,
He grabbed his nuts and said, "I don't give a fuck. Take my law degree away, ban me from the court, lock me up, fuck out of here." But
yeah,
he got a cursed technique, so good for him.
and we don't even know what it is yet. It is wild, and you know what? If you look at the curse's eyes, it's shut, just like the Lady Liberty thing.
Yeah,
That we have the
dope
two
was that,
like
man?
scales. This is crazy cool. This is like top tier Jujutsu Kaisen. It's just like interesting character, and this dude's power is gonna be insane. I'm so excited for Higuruma to show out.
I have a quick thought, and then we could keep gushing about the chapters. After the
Go
fact.
for
All
it.
right, I do want to get this off real quick. So, regarding the second judgment, the second court hearing, right, and how it worked out the way it did, right, and this is what I was going to kind of talk about earlier, and this is truly more of just, I guess, an insight from me, like how I feel about the situation. I don't know exactly if this is the case, but seeing that they have such a beyond, like Brian said, beyond 99% when I read that, like that shit shocked me as well, but I put 2 and 2 together and looked at it like this. This is Japan's version of a product of the system, or you chalking it up to the game, because they looked at like in the words what he says, like, look, there's no one else to blame here. Who are we gonna do? So we're gonna dismiss him and move the suspect to nobody, because all of the effort and time has been put into fixing him out to be, the culprit.
Yeah.
It's very fucking shady, but it's, understanding why it happened. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're trying to lock people up proactively like they are doing here in America.
Yeah.
That's very well documented. It was just, it's their pride and it's their dedication to perfection that we know of the Japanese culture, of their work ethic and such. You know what I'm saying? That they even hurt themselves over, health wise.
Yeah.
Right. That that goes even beyond just the manga artists. I mean, people that work in the office, and all sorts of things in the country. And this is one of them. And they're like, fuck out of here. We're not bringing no percentage down for this fucking low life. And don't get me wrong, that is fucking horrible. Either way you slice it, and it's wrong. And that's why, there are actual real people like Higuruma who don't have cursed techniques, but they fight, they go really hard and have to go home after they fail and really, hold that down, but they keep fighting. And, shout out to all of y'all that do that in Japan or here in America and everywhere else that practices law and fights for what's right.
Yeah, public defenders, dude. It's tough. I don't know, man.
All right, I said my spiel, man. The percentage, but they did it because I think it was due to the culture of perfection, and he's a casualty of that. Yeah, that was my analysis.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I can't really gush too much more about this. I thought this was like a magnificent introduction to a character. And we were like so off because when you first see Higurama, he kind of looks evil. I thought like he was like, is this a judge guy? We were like, he's a judge? You'd be like, law is perfect.
Yeah, we were like going in on him like he's gonna be real judgy and stuck up.
Yeah,
and shit.
But he's the man.
He's a real ass nigga. Yo.
Yeah, it turns out he's the best. He's the greatest. He's getting one of these.
The champ is here.
And not to mention, he has 100 points, which means he probably kills everyone here. He kills
everyone except his client.
I mean, I don't know. He has 100 points.
You think the client too, baby? He said, "You know what? You said those words to me."
I mean, you got to kill a lot of people to get 100. I don't know. I forgot like the value of how much normal people are worth. I think they're only worth a point, where sorcerers are worth 5. So he had to have killed a lot of sorcerers or a lot of regular people.
I didn't even think about that. I did not put 2 and 2 together like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so interested. I hope the very next chapter is more on Higuruma. I hope the next time we see him isn't just like 4 chapters from now. He's so great.
Right.
Down to his design. He's got a very simple design, but so expressive and cool.
Yeah.
I just love Higurama. I knew he was going to be a great character.
It's well executed. I mean, period. Like his design, because he's not this flashy dude.
Yeah.
You could tell it, like his whole personality. It just oozes through him. He's not this flamboyant person. He doesn't have this really colorful personality. He's just about his business, and his business ain't nothing really funny or wonderful.
Yeah.
Especially most of the time, your clients take L's.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent chapter.
For sure. That's all I got to say about it. You guys ready to move
on? I'm privileged to read it.
For sure.
Thank you.